welcome to day 19 of my 6th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P, stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 19 already. Now, of course, you do not have to join the challenge. If you just want to do this workout with me, that's great. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to join the challenge, you have several options. This challenge is so easy to customize, and this year I am making a concerted effort to ensure that the challenge is accessible to ultra, super duper day one beginners. So if you're a beginner, you are in the right place. Don't go anywhere. If you're not a beginner, then the workouts we're doing this year might not really challenge you very much. So I'm going to recommend, if you would like workouts that are a little bit more intense, a little bit more difficult, more advanced, I'm going to recommend that you follow along with last year's playlist. Last year was my 5th year in a row doing the challenge, and last year the workouts we were doing, it was the same challenge. We were still doing at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. But the workouts were generally much longer because we were frequently doing more than just those 160 reps every day. Most days we were doing more challenging variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups, and frequently we were adding weight to the workouts and incorporating cardio. So if you're more advanced and you want workouts that are really going to challenge you, I recommend saving last year's playlist. I will put a link to the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it at the very end of the video as well, just so you can't miss it. But save both playlists if you are not a beginner, because it's really convenient to have these shorter, simpler workouts to choose from on days when you are really pressed for time. Or you can even just use these workouts that we're doing this year as like a warm-up for something more intense, maybe a warm-up before a long run or a hike or a bike ride or something like that. So the workouts we're doing this year, even though they're more geared towards beginners, and we've been doing pretty much exclusively body weight exercises, that only makes it great if you're traveling and you don't have access to equipment, but they're short and they're kind of simpler and they're a little bit easier, but these are still great workouts that we're doing this year. So it's really nice to have that option. So I'm going to recommend that you save both playlists, and then you can kind of bounce back and forth between the two. I'm presenting this challenge in a very orderly fashion where there's a new workout every single day and the workouts are numbered, and if you want to do the challenge that way, great, do the challenge that way. But you don't necessarily have to do exactly what I'm doing every single day. Really, the only requirement to participate in the challenge is just that you're getting those 160 reps done one way or another. So again, you can bounce back and forth between the two playlists. You can choose any workout off of either playlist that you want to do each day. If there's a workout you really don't care for, don't do it, do a different one. If there's a workout that we did earlier in the challenge or that we did last year and you loved it and you want to do it again, do that one again, okay? And if you don't even want to do a structured workout, I like to incorporate my reps into a structured workout, and I'm sharing a new workout with you every day. But if you don't want to do that, or you just don't have time for that, you can just do your reps randomly throughout the day. So you could get up in the morning and do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of any ab exercise you want, and 10 push-ups. Any variations of those 4 exercises that you want to do is fine. And then you can just repeat that 3 more times throughout the day. So do it again after lunch, again after you get home from work, and 1 more time before bed, and there's your 160 reps. So it doesn't matter what variations of the exercises you do, and it doesn't matter how you get them done. As long as you complete your 160 reps for the day, you have met your requirement to participate in the challenge. And with each individual workout as well. If you like the workout I'm doing, but there's just a specific exercise that you don't like or you can't do, like say you don't like the ab exercise I'm doing in a particular workout, but you like the rest of the workout, just swap out the ab exercise for something that works better for you, okay? So the challenge is really easy to customize. Now, if you are a beginner, I'm going to recommend that you start with day 1 because you don't have to. First of all, let me say, it is not too late to join the challenge. It is never too late to join the challenge. So if you want to just jump in today and start on day 19, that's fine by me, okay? I would rather have you do the final 21 days of the challenge than no days of the challenge. So if you want to just jump in today and start here, great, do it. And if you want to start on day 1, that's even better. So I'm going to recommend that you save the playlist, this year's playlist, okay? Especially if you are a beginner. And I will link that playlist up here in the iCard as well. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked again at the end of the video. So save the playlist and then watch the video for day 1 so that you understand what the challenge is, why we are doing it, what we're hoping to accomplish with this challenge. You understand where to begin, how to participate. That video is going to answer all of your questions about what the challenge actually is and how you can join. And in that video, you're also going to see in great detail the correct form to do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. And you're also going to see tons of beginner modifications, okay? Including modifications for the absolute most beginnerist of all beginners of all time that ever beginned at anything in the history of the world. I promise you, okay? You might be in the worst shape imaginable. You might be the most overweight you've ever been in your life. You might have the worst knees in the whole world. You might think you're too old to do this. You're just too out of shape to do this. Maybe you've never done a single squat in your entire life. You've never done a workout before, okay? I don't care, you can do this challenge. And if you just start by watching that day 1 video, I think I will be able to convince you of that, okay? I promise. If you can't get down on a mat to do sit-ups or knee push-ups, then you have standing options for abs and push-ups. You can do this entire challenge without ever getting down onto the floor or the ground, without ever getting down onto your knees. Okay, so please just watch that day 1 video so that you can understand what the challenge is and how it works. You see how to do the exercises. You see that you can do the exercises. And then when you're ready to go ahead and start the challenge, the only thing is that you just want to make sure you start with your day 1 workout. So you want to start day 1 of the challenge on a Wednesday. As long as you start day 1 on a Wednesday, then everything will fall into place. From there, all you have to do is just follow along with the playlist. I have made it as easy as I possibly can to understand what the challenge is and why we're doing it and how to participate and where to begin. I have made it as easy as I can to follow along with everything, but of course, I am right here doing the challenge with you. I'm here working out with you every single day, but I am also here to help. I am here to answer questions. I am here to provide guidance. I am here to help motivate you and encourage you if you need that, okay? So please remember that I'm always here to answer questions. Don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. If you watch that day 1 video and something is still unclear, just ask me about it. I will do my best to clarify whatever it is that you don't understand, and that I will help you every step of the way. I will help you to get started with the challenge. I will be here to answer your questions every single day. I have had new people joining the challenge every week, and this year, this is the most people I have ever had doing the challenge with me, and it makes me so happy. So if this is the first you're hearing about it, or if you've been aware of it but you just haven't wanted to join yet, and now you're thinking, you know, maybe I will join the challenge, great, I'm happy to have you. You can start with day 1 on a Wednesday, or you can start today, it doesn't matter. If you make that commitment to join this challenge with me, then you're the one doing it. So you do it in a way that works for you. I'm always here to help. If you need anything, just ask. But if 160 reps every single day seems too daunting, I have at least 2 people doing the challenge this year who are doing fewer reps, because that's what they can manage at their current fitness level, and that's amazing. Think about that for a second. That if you see this challenge and you think, well, I can't do 160 reps every day, to instead of saying, well, I'm just not there yet, I can't do the challenge, instead to have this paradigm shift and say, well, I can't do the challenge that way, but how can I do the challenge? Because I can do the challenge. So what do I have to change? What do I have to modify to make it work for me? I think that's amazing. So if you can only commit to doing 20 reps of everything a day, or 15 reps, or 10 reps, then do that. Okay, it's fine if you can't do all 40 days of the challenge. Commit to doing 30 days of the challenge, or 20 days of the challenge, or 10 days of the challenge, or 1 day of the challenge. It's always better to do something than nothing. So please just make a commitment to do something, even if it's just this one workout with me today. It's always better to do something than nothing. So to whatever degree you are able to participate in the challenge, just know that you are welcome. It's not too late. It's never too late. You can do it. I'm happy to have you join, and I'm right here to help. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. So I'm first going to, if you are a beginner or if you're new to my videos, this is the way it's going to work. I'm going to start by explaining and demonstrating each of the exercises that we are doing for today's workout. I will also provide you with beginner modifications for each exercise. Then I'll explain the format so you understand how everything fits together. Then you'll pause the video, gather whatever equipment you need, if any. You will change your clothes and get ready for the workout, and then you'll meet me right back here. When you're ready to start the workout, you'll come back to the video, press play. We'll do a quick little 5-minute warm up together, and then we'll get our reps done. Okay? So, beginning with the tutorial, so that you understand all of the exercises we're doing, I'm going to start with squats. So, the basic form for just an air squat, you want to make sure your shoulders are back and down. So I always tell you to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets, okay? So shoulders are back and down. Your chest is lifted nice and high, okay? And then you want to make sure your chest stays lifted nice and high. Tighten up your abs as though someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for that impact. Really, really engage those abs. And now, before you think about your squat, because if you think about your squat as just going straight down like this, what's going to tend to happen is that your knees will end up over your toes, and it's really, really easy to hurt your knees that way, and it's really just not the movement. So once your shoulders are back and down and your chest is lifted nice and high and your abs are tight, the next thing you want to think about is actually hinging at the hips. So if you imagine that you were trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, that's what we're going for. When I do that, do you see how the weight now is in my heels? I can actually pick up my toes. And remember that your chest is still lifted nice and high, so at the same time that I'm trying to touch the wall behind me with my booty, I'm thinking about trying to touch the wall in front of me with my chest so that my spine is nice and elongated and my back is flat. What you're trying to avoid is rounding your back like this. You want a nice flat back. So from here, roll the shoulders back and down, lift that chest high, push the booty back, and now you see how my back is nice and flat. And the weight is in my heels, and from this position, you can go ahead and sink down into your squat, okay? Then once you have sunk as low in the squat as you're going to, if you are able to squat super low and get your booty all the way down below your knees, great, as long as you can do so without pain and without pushing your body into doing something it's not ready to do, fine. Your goal is to try to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. You may not be there yet, and that's fine. Please work to your own level. Do not push your body into doing something it's not ready to do. I always make a distinction between your goal and your objective, okay? So the goal is to one day, maybe today, but if not someday, get your thighs at least parallel to the ground. But if you're not there yet, you're not there yet. The objective is to maintain a flat back. Keep your back flat, keep the weight in your heels, and do your best. So if you can only come here, then this is your squat. If that's the best you've got, then that's amazing, okay? So your best is always good enough. So the objective is a flat back and weight in the heels, minding your form so that you reduce your risk of injury. But the goal, what you're going for is this, to try to at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. Maybe it won't happen today, but if you keep putting in the work and strengthening your quads and your core, then you'll get there someday. So once you're down here in your squat, you're going to press the ground away with your heels. Really actively press your heels into the ground. Visualize actually trying to push the ground away from you. Why? Because that is going to activate all of the muscles from your feet through your legs, your quads especially. You're going to feel your glutes, and of course it's going to help you to remember to keep your entire core nice and strong and tight and engaged. Okay, so shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight, pushing the booty back, trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest, and now with a flat back and the weight in your heels, sinking down into that squat, then pressing the ground away with your heels to stand. All right, so that's just a basic air squat. You can hold onto a chair or some other strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support. If you need it, you can also squat into a chair. Let me know if you need to see that modification, because I've demonstrated and explained that modification many times already for this year's challenge. So it's very easy to find, but if you need to see it, I will be more than happy to either make a separate video and show it to you or direct you where to go, because there's several other videos where I went over that modification in detail. So if you're super duper beginner and you can't even do this unassisted, that's fine. You can squat into a chair. I promise you can do it, okay? You can do squats. So remember that any squat variation you want to do is fine. So I'm about to show you the squat variation I'm doing, but now you have your basics and you understand how to do a squat. You understand the mechanics of it and what you're asking your body to do. So from there, you're just going to apply that technique to whatever squat variation you choose to do, okay? So what I'm going to do is a sumo squat. That means I'm gonna have my feet a little bit wider apart, and my toes are kind of angled out at about a 45-degree angle. So this is my toes facing you, facing straight forward. And this is what it would look like if they were like all the way out. You didn't know I had turnout like that, did you? I really don't. So we're splitting the difference. I'm gonna be kind of here, so that they're at about like maybe a 45-degree angle. And then from here, I'm actually going to lift my heels and I'm going to come up onto my toes. So we're working our calves today, calves, Achilles, really. We're strengthening the feet, strengthening those calves, Achilles, so it's adding a lot to the squat and it makes it a lot more difficult. So I'm going to start by lifting my heels and coming up onto my toes, and then from this position with my heels elevated, I'm going to sink down into my squat. And then I'm going to press the balls of my feet into the ground instead of my heels. Typically, I tell you to press your heels into the ground because your weight is back in your heels, so you're pressing your heels into the ground to stand. But obviously my heels are not on the ground for this squat variation, so I'm pressing the balls of my feet into the ground, pushing the ground away with the balls of my feet to come back up to stand. So let's put one all together. Feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, toes pointing out slightly at about a 45-degree angle. Lift the heels coming up onto the balls of the feet. Then from this position, sink down into the squat with your heels elevated. Now press the balls of your feet into the ground to stand, and once you back up to stand, you're going to lower your heels, but I'm not just gonna drop down, all right? You always wanna be making sure that the movement is under control. So just letting gravity take over and kind of falling, that's not doing anything for you. You're out here spending the time, you might as well get the most you can out of each and every rep. So the way you do that is by minding your form and controlling the movement. So from here, I'm slowly lowering my heels with control, okay? Using my muscles to control the movement. You don't have to lower your heels that slowly. I'm just showing you that the movement needs to be under control. Okay, so lift the heels, squat, press the balls of the feet into the ground to stand, lower the heels, that's 1 rep. Then lift the heels again, squat, come back up, and lower the heels with control. Now, if you want to add a little element to work your calves, Achilles, your feet a little more, you can just, this is a little advanced. If you're a beginner, it might be out of reach for you. But keep in mind that you can hold on to something for support. So a strong, sturdy, stable chair or a bar stool or some other elevated surface that is strong enough, sturdy enough, and stable enough to be used safely. So maybe the arm of your couch or your dining room table or a park bench, okay? Something like that, or like a weight bench if you have it, that would be great. A plyo box. All right, so any number of elevated surfaces can work if you need to hold on to something for support, and that might really enable you to do this exercise. But if not, you can try this instead. So you're just gonna do basically a regular air squat. So instead of having your feet super wide, you can just have them where it's comfortable. Maybe shoulder width apart, maybe just a little bit more than shoulder width, whatever feels good to you. Do your air squat, and then as you come up, just come up onto the toes, all right? You can reach, all right? So that's another way to kind of add a little element. It requires a little less balance, but of course, if you need to hold on to a chair or some other elevated surface for support, you can do that as well. You can squat and then just come up onto the toes and then lower the heels with control. Squat with both feet flat on the ground, just a regular air squat. And then after you stand, lift the heels and lower the heels with control. So when you lift the heels, really come up as high. Your feet should look like a Barbie doll, okay? All the way up as high as you can onto the balls of your feet, and then lower with control. Okay, so any squat variation you want to do is fine, but holding onto a chair for support is going to help you out a lot if you are a beginner or if you're struggling with this variation. And if that's still too difficult, then just do this. And again, you can hold on to a chair for support if you need to. I think that one of those variations is going to be doable for most beginners, but again, if that's not going to work for you and you need any further assistance coming up with a modification that you can manage, I'm right here to help, so please just ask. First, that was squats. For lunges, we're just doing static lunges, and we have done these so far in the challenge. So again, shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are engaged. All right, we got that. Shoulders are away from the ears. Always our chest is high, abs are engaged, spine is elongated. We want a nice flat back for our squats and our lunges and our push-ups. So you're going to start by just standing with your feet about hip width apart. All right, so you don't want them wide. You don't want them wider than your shoulders, but you also don't want them touching. So find what feels comfortable for you, but generally they're gonna be just about hip width apart. Then from there, you're going to pick up one foot and take a step behind you. And then you are going to bend both knees and come down into your lunge position. I like to tap this back knee to the ground. You may or may not be able to tap your back knee to the ground. It doesn't matter if you do or you don't. If you do have that range of motion and you do want to tap that back knee to the ground, just please make sure the movement is under control so you don't bang your knee into the ground, because it hurts. I speak from experience. The movement should be under control regardless, but it's just one more thing to think about. I don't want you banging your knee into the ground. But again, work to your own level. So if you can tap that back knee to the ground and it doesn't cause pain, and you're not pushing your body to do more than what you're ready to do today, and you want to, go ahead. But if not, just be here, that's fine. The main thing with your lunge is that you want to pay attention to this front knee. So I'm going for more or less a 90-degree angle in this front knee, meaning that the knee should be more over the heel of my front foot as opposed to out here over the toes. So You want to keep your knee above your heel, 90-degree angle in the knee if you can. And then from here, you're just going to straighten the legs. The feet stay right where they are. We're just going to pulse. It's a static lunge, so you're going to stay static right here. All you're going to do is bend the knees and lunge, and then straighten the legs and stand. That's 1 rep. Lunge and straighten. That's 2, 3. All right, so if you're a beginner, you might not be able to take such a large step back. That's fine. You can always shorten up your range of motion. So if you can't step here, step here. And if you can't lunge here, okay? So shorten up the range of motion, hold on to something for support if you need to. You can hold on to a chair or the wall for support. Again, just anything that's strong, sturdy, and stable enough to be used safely. But you can just hold on to something for support and then step back and lunge, okay? I think that static lunges are pretty easily accessible for most beginners. So again, if you need any further assistance with beginner modifications, I'm right here to help. So please just ask, but your official beginner modification is going to be to shorten up the range of motion. So shorten up the range of motion on your step back, shorten up the range of motion on your lunge, don't lunge as deep, and hold on to a chair or the wall or some other surface, elevated surface for support. Okay, but that is our lunge variation. Next, let's move on to abs and push-ups. So I'm going to be down here on the mat to demonstrate abs and push-ups, but when I do the workout, I'm not going to be using a mat. I am going to be using fitness gloves. So if you don't have a pair of fitness gloves, I very strongly recommend investing in a pair. They're inexpensive and they're very useful. I pretty much always wear fitness gloves, especially when I work out on this concrete. It just makes it a lot more comfortable. If I'm holding on to my jump rope or a set of dumbbells, it helps me with my grip, because I'm out here working out and my hands get sweaty, and it makes the workout more comfortable. It helps with grip. I just think they're a really smart investment to make, but you don't need gloves to do this workout. You can do it like I'm demonstrating here. I'm not wearing my gloves right now. I'm just going to use my mat instead. But it's going to be more comfortable with something soft beneath your hands. And then again, if you're doing knee push-ups, you're definitely going to want something soft beneath your knees. So this is another thing that I strongly recommend investing in, is some sort of exercise mat. Typically, I mean, if you work out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything, but for most of these workouts, there's going to be at least one exercise where you're going to be so much more comfortable with something soft beneath you, and especially since this year I'm anticipating that a lot of beginners are going to be doing these workouts for the challenge, and a lot of beginners are doing knee push-ups. So if you're doing push-ups from your knees, then you're going to want to invest in a yoga mat or one of those thick exercise mats. This is my jump rope mat. I like it because it's nice and thick, and it gives me a little bit more protection out here on the concrete. But that is an investment that if I had to prioritize, I'd say that's the number one most important investment. That's the first thing you should invest in, is some sort of exercise mat. In the meantime, you can usually make do with a towel or like a throw pillow, depending on the exercise. But a yoga mat is also, or an exercise mat is also really handy to have for your stretching routine, and you should be stretching every day, even if you're not doing the challenge, even if you're not going to be doing my workouts with me in the future. You should always be stretching every day, working on your flexibility and your mobility. So if I had to prioritize, my number one thing that I think you should go spend money on today is an exercise mat or yoga mat, and you can buy it at the drugstore. It's super easy, okay? But just so you're aware, you don't necessarily need any equipment, but I do recommend having something like this. So I am doing crab toe touches today, and I'm counting that as my ab exercise, and I don't know if most people would really count that as an ab exercise, but we're definitely working our core. I think a lot of people tend to conflate abs with core, or core with abs. Your abs are part of your core, they're a big part of it, but the two terms are not interchangeable. And with this exercise, it really is a great core exercise. It doesn't work your ab muscles as much. Like, you're not gonna feel your abs as much as you would feel them doing like sit-ups or crunches, but we are still working our abs and we're working on our entire core. And in the interest of keeping things fresh and new every day so that the challenge does not become boring or stale, I don't just want to be doing crunches and sit-ups every day. So I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. So this is going to be our ab exercise today. And yeah, so this is how you do it. So you're going to come down here on your mat if you're using one, and you're going to have your hands on the mat and your knees bent. Now what I'm going to do is press my hands into the mat, press my heels into the ground, and lift my hips. I want to lift my hips nice and high as I can, like I'm trying to touch the ceiling with my hip flexors. And do your best to be up here. You're not going to be perfect, but try to be aware of keeping your hips lifted high and not letting them sink down too low towards the mat if you can, okay? And then from here, I'm going to lift one foot, and at the same time, I'm going to lift the opposite hand and tap the toes. I'm going to tap the toes with the hand on the opposite side. Okay, so lifting one leg and tapping the toes with the opposite hand. And now repeating that on the other side. So lift the other foot, tap the toes with the opposite hand. And that's it. Each toe tap is one rep. So we're alternating sides with each rep. So it's just going to look like this. Lift the hips high, and then lift one leg at a time. Tap the toes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Now, if you're a beginner, that is hard on this shoulder. The shoulder is getting better, but oh my God, it is not better yet. What was I saying? Oh, if you're a beginner and you cannot lift your hand and your foot at the same time, then you can try this. Try just kicking up with one foot at a time. Okay, so you're just lifting one foot at a time and kicking it straight up. You could also try something similar, but keeping your knees more bent. So you really could just try this kind of like little crab march. So you're gonna come up to your crab position and then just march. Just lift one foot at a time, a few inches off the ground, bringing your knee towards your chest, and then place it back down with control. If you cannot come up into your crab pose, like if it's too hard to get here, then you can do something similar from down here, okay? You can just have your booty on the mat and either lift one knee at a time or kick up. Lift like one leg more straight, like kick up towards the ceiling, something like that, okay? I do think that pretty much all of you are going to be able to at least manage something like this. So if you want to try, you can try like just a few reps up here if you can. But if you really just, if it gets too, if you get too fatigued, then maybe you can put your booty down on the mat. But if you really just cannot get your hips up here, that's fine. Just do the same thing with your booty on the mat. And if you're able to tap the toes, that's great. If having your booty on the mat allows you the stability that you can actually reach across with each lift, or if you're keeping your knees more bent, you can reach across, do a little twist, and tap knee to elbow, something like that. Yeah, I think that'll work for most beginners. Just keep in mind that any ab exercise will do. So if you can't get down onto the mat, you have your standing ab exercise that I show you every day. If you need to see that, let me know. But any sit-up variation, crunch variation, if none of these variations that I just showed you for the crab toe touches are gonna work, or standing abs, you have a couple of different standing abs options that you can try. But I'm gonna be doing those crab toe touches. They're pretty simple. And now finally, you've been waiting for it. The moment has arrived, push-ups. All right, so if you are a beginner, I'm going to assume that most of you are doing your push-ups from your knees. Now, not all beginners are just automatically at the same level just because they're beginners. You may be a beginner but still able to do the push-ups from your toes, and that's great. But for my knee push-up peeps, let's go over the proper form for your knee push-ups, because it's the exact same as doing push-ups from your toes. So you're going to start with your hands underneath your shoulders, step your feet back so that you are in a plank position, and then just place your knees down right where they are. And this is the position, your starting position for your push-up. So what you want to be aware of here, the three main things, is the positioning of your head, first of all. So you want your head in line with your spine. So don't let your head drop down like this. Don't hyperextend your neck. You just want your head in line with your spine. Number two is your shoulders. You want your shoulders away from your ears. So if you find that you're kind of sinking down into your shoulders like this, the way to fix that is to press the mat away from you and push yourself up as high as you can in this plank position so that your shoulders are away from your ears. So actively press the ground away from you. And number three is your back. You want to make sure your back is flat. So if you find that your hips or your belly are kind of drooping down towards the mat like this, do you see how that is causing an arch in my back? We don't want that. So instead, what I want you to do is tighten up your abs. Again, it's like someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for impact. So you want your abs super tight. You're going to use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. And this is your starting position for your push-up. Now from here, all you're going to do is bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the mat as you can. So the goal is to get your chest all the way down to the mat and then push yourself back up. But notice I said the goal is to get your chest all the way down to the mat, but the objective of this exercise is to maintain that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, okay? So my goal is to get my chest down to the mat, but if I'm unable to do that without breaking this straight line from my knees to my shoulders, I don't want to lower my hips or my belly down to the mat to enable me to touch the mat with my chest, because that's not the objective. The objective is to not break that straight line from my heels to my knees to my shoulders. So my goal, I'm trying to get my chest to the mat, trying. All of a sudden I can't go any farther. So what is really tempting a lot of people will do is lower their forehead down to the mat. So it's like, I did it, I got all the way down. But remember that you want your head in line with your spine. So if you imagine standing up against a wall and lightly pressing the back of your head into the wall, that's where your head should be and that's where it should stay. Perfectly straight up and down in line with your spine, and everything should stay still. Okay, so you don't want to be bobbing your head up and down. So your goal is to get your chest down to the mat, but if you can't do that without breaking that one straight line from your knees to your shoulders, and if you can't do that without lowering your hips or your belly down, and you can't do it without bobbing your forehead down to the mat, then just get it as close as you can, okay? So if you can only come down this far, if this is as close to the mat as you can get your chest, that's fine, just shorten up your range of motion. So once you're here, you're going to press the ground away from you and return to your starting position, and that's your push-up. Shortening up your range of motion is absolutely fine. What's not fine is breaking that line from your knees to your shoulders. What's not fine is bobbing your head up and down, okay? So tight abs, keep the hips lifted high, keep the shoulders away from the ears, continually pressing that mat away from you, keep your head in line with your spine and don't let it move. So that's a basic knee push-up. Any knee push-up variation you want to do is fine. If you want to make it a little bit easier, you can use a chair. Elevating your hands for the push-ups makes the push-ups easier. So you can have a strong, sturdy, stable chair, or a plyo box would be ideal. The higher your surface, the easier the push-up. And the closer your knees are to the chair or the stool or whatever you're using, the easier the push-up. If you have the strength the upper body strength and the core strength to do knee push-ups, but the reason you can't do them is because it hurts your knees. I do have a couple of suggestions to address that. So the first one is just to double your mat over once or twice so that your mat is like 2 to 4 times thicker, and it gives you a lot more protection for your knees. It makes the push-ups a lot more comfortable. Another thing is to grab a throw pillow, or like I have cushions on my dining room tables, not on the on my dining room chairs. I have those little cushions to sit on. Those work great. So, or if you have if you do any gardening, they sell those little kneeling pads, something like that. You can place it right on top of your mat. You can double the mat and put that on top, okay? As much protection as you need for your knees. Get creative and use what you got, but that can be really, really helpful. But if knee push-ups are just absolutely not going to work for you at all, remember you can do push-ups off of your kitchen counter or the arm of your couch. You can do wall push-ups. So if you need to see those modifications, please let me know. I demonstrated and explained all of those for the first 10 days of the challenge, I think. But I am happy to go over those with you if you're just starting today and you can't get down on your knees. I'm more than happy to show you how to do push-ups off your kitchen counter or off of the wall, so please just ask. But if you're doing knee push-ups, any knee push-up variation you want to do is fine. And if you're doing the push-ups from your toes, all of the same principles apply. Literally the only difference is that instead of having your knees on the mat, you're going to be up in a high plank position, but from here, everything else is the same. Instead of the straight line going from your knees to your shoulders, your straight line goes from your ankles to your shoulders, but everything else is the same. So my head is in line with my spine. It's not dropping down here. I'm not hyperextending my neck. My abs are tight and my hips are lifted nice and high. My hips and my belly are not drooping down towards the mat, and they're not up here. They're right here. My body's in one straight line from my heels to my shoulders, and my shoulders are away from my ears. I'm not sinking down into my shoulders like this. I'm pushing the mat away from me so that I'm up nice and high in this plank, and then as I bend my elbows and lower my chest towards the mat, nothing moves. I'm maintaining that straight line from my heels to my shoulders, and then pressing the mat away to push myself back up and return to my starting position. So I'm going to be doing what I call breakdance push-ups, and you'll see why I pair them with the crab toe touches, because they go really well together and everything's just kind of going to flow for us. So we're actually going to start up here in this crab position. Now, these can be a little tricky to explain, or maybe they look a little tricky, but I actually do not find them tricky. I think the movement is actually very intuitive. So you're gonna watch me do it right now, and I'm going to explain what I'm doing, but I'm gonna recommend that you actually get down onto the floor and try it with me, so that instead of just seeing me do it and listening to me explain it, you're kind of experiencing it and getting it in your body, because I think it looks trickier than it is, honestly. So you're gonna lift your hips. You're in this crab pose. Palms are flat on the mat, feet are flat on the ground. You're going to pick up one hand, and then you're going to pick up the opposite foot. The hand is gonna come over, the foot is going to go under. And you're just going to continue in that motion until your hand is on the mat or the ground, and this foot is elevated up off of the ground. And you're going to do your push-up from this position if you can. If you cannot do your push-up with one foot off the ground, then you can put both feet on the ground for your push-up and then lift that foot again. All right, and then you're just going to return to your starting position. So you're gonna pick up this outside hand, and you're gonna take this opposite foot, hand goes over, foot goes under. And then you're back in your crab pose, okay? So I think it looks really tricky. It looks like it requires a ton of coordination, but I actually don't think it does. I think it's, like I said, it's really pretty intuitive. So we're alternating sides with each rep. So with your next rep, you're gonna be up here in your crab pose. You're going to pick up the other foot this time and the other hand. So it's always opposite hand, opposite foot, or that's when we started on. This is gonna be talking about how easy it is, and then I can't even remember which side I'm on. All right, so we did this hand and this foot for the first rep. Now we're here, we're gonna alternate sides. So now, other hand, opposite foot, okay? Hand goes over, foot goes under. So I'm tucking this leg underneath my standing leg. My hand is coming over, and then I'm ending up in this plank position with one leg elevated. If you need to put your foot down for the push-up, put your foot down for the push-up. If not, you're gonna keep this foot elevated, do your push-up, and then return to your starting position. So this knee is gonna bend, it's gonna tuck back under, the opposite hand comes over, and you return to your starting position. All right, so if you're doing knee push-ups, you can still try this and just put either one knee or both knees down for the push-up if you want. If the breakdance part of it is too difficult or too confusing, then you can do any other push-up variation you want. So you can do any other type of knee push-up you want, or again, you can do wall push-ups, you can do push-ups off the arm of your couch or your kitchen counter. But if you are doing, I'm trying to think of the best place to have your mat. I think this will work if you're doing knee push-ups, but you still want to include the crab toe touch. You can probably be on your mat like this, maybe with your feet down here, because you're kind of, your mat will get caught up under your feet, I think, if you don't have your feet off of the mat, but this might work. Let's see. So if you're in your crab pose here, and you pick up one hand, opposite foot, rotate. Yeah, why couldn't you just put one knee down and do your push-up from here, right? So put the knee down, and then lift the leg again, and come back. That absolutely works. So yeah, I think that can work. So other side, you go right into your next rep. So now you're going to pick up the other hand, opposite foot. So what did I do? I put, okay, so this leg that's elevated, I put that knee down and then just did like push up like this, letting the other foot come off the floor, but then put that foot down, and then your supporting knee, lift that back up, and then foot comes under, hand goes over. I think that works. Knee down, push up, lift the knee back up and tuck it under. Other side. Put the knee down, one knee push up, put the foot back down, pick the knee up, tuck it under, hand comes over. And if you need to put both knees down for the push-up, just put both knees down. But you can do that, yeah. So, and now both knees down. Yeah, that works. So you can absolutely do breakdance push-ups either from one knee or both knees, and that's a perfect modification. But again, if it's too confusing or too complicated, just stick with knee push-ups or any push-up variation you want. All right, so that's it. That's all for exercises. Now here is the format. We're starting with squats and lunges. We're going to get all of our squats and lunges done before we move on to abs and push-ups. And this is how. We are going to do sets of 4. 4 squats, 4 lunges, times 10 rounds. So that'll be 40 squats and 40 lunges. You're just gonna make sure that you're alternating sides for your lunges with each set. So we're doing 10 sets. You're gonna start with 4 squats, whatever squat variation you choose. So I'm doing these heels elevated sumo squats. I'll do 4 of those. And then I'm going to step 1 foot back and do my 4 static lunges. That's 1 set. So then starting again at the top, I'm going to do another 4 squats. And then I'm going to step back with the opposite foot and do 4 static lunges with this foot forward. And that's 2 sets, okay? So you're gonna do 10 total sets to get in all your 40 reps of squats, 40 reps of lunges. Just make sure that each time you do the lunges, you are alternating which foot is in front. so that you end up even on both sides. Okay, so 10 sets, and then we're done with squats and lunges. Then abs and push-ups is going to be similar, but we're doubling the reps and halving cutting the amount of sets in half, the number of sets in half. So we're doing 8 reps of crab toe touches, 8 push-ups times 5 rounds. All right, and that's our 40 reps of abs and our 40 push-ups. And then of course our bonus burpee, and then the workout will be officially complete. Please remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the workout with you, so watch me do it. Read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear about the format, or if the format is not going to work for you and you need help making modifications or adjustments, please just ask. If you have any questions about the exercises that we are doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications, I am right here. So please just ask. It is incredibly important that you understand the movement. You understand what you're asking of your body. It's really important that you understand how to do each one of these exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, and also just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. It is also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. I'm always here to help facilitate that, and especially for this challenge this year. So do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you need any help. And then of course, once you have decided which modifications of these exercises you can manage, and you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form, it is equally important that you apply that knowledge. So please, especially if you are going to be working out along with the video, make sure that you are going at your own pace and that you are minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. If you're in decent shape, you will almost certainly be faster than I am, and that's great. Be faster than I am, just as long as you're not sacrificing your form to get there. If you are slower than I am, who cares? You're out here doing the reps, so who cares how quickly you get them done? If you fall behind because you're working at a slower pace than I am, or because you need to pause and rest and just stop the video. And when you're ready to resume, come back, okay? Challenge yourself. If you do need to pause and rest, that's great, you should do that. But challenge yourself to see how short you can keep your rest breaks. Really try to keep your rest breaks as short as possible, but they should be as long as you need. So it's really important that you're listening to your body and making the decision that is best for you. You do want to challenge yourself. So you do want to try to keep your rest breaks as short as you can, but you should only resume the workout when you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina to continue with good form. Your form is first and foremost your top priority, okay? So mind your form. Go at your own pace. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. I hope I've covered everything. If you are ready to go ahead and start the workout, gather whatever equipment you need. So for me, all I'm using today is my fitness gloves. But if you are doing knee push-ups, you are going to be much more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If not, a towel may suffice. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. But again, remember to get creative and use what you've got. So if you need protection for your knees, a throw pillow can work, or if you have cushions on your dining room chairs, those are perfect, or those little like gardening, like kneeler things, whatever those are called. Okay, so if you need something to offer you some protection for your knees, go ahead and get that ready. If you need to hold on to a chair or some other elevated surface for support, get that ready as well. Just please make sure that if you are holding onto a chair or something similar for support, that your chair or other elevated surface is strong enough to support your entire body weight, make sure that it is sturdy. And what I mean by sturdy, you don't want to use like a folding chair. You want to use something that's a good quality chair, well made, in good condition, and that when you put weight on it, it is not going to collapse or fold up on you or break, okay? So you want something that's nice and sturdy, strong enough to hold your body weight, sturdy so that it won't collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it, and make sure it is stable, meaning that it can't slide from underneath you as you put weight on it, because then you're gonna fall and get hurt. I don't want anyone getting hurt. So I always recommend, if you're going to use something like a chair or a bar stool or something like that, I recommend that you place it on top of an exercise mat or a yoga mat so that it stays put and it can't slide from underneath you. So please, again, use your common sense and be safe. But if you need to hold on to something for support, grab a strong, sturdy, stable chair or some other elevated surface. And now pause the video, go ahead and get dressed, and when you are ready, meet me right back here. We are going to start with a quick 5-minute warm up, and then we'll get our reps done together. So when you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up. You're going to begin by just letting your head fall towards one side, and then you're going to place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Just let everything relax. You are not actively pulling on your head. You're just letting gravity do the work, getting a nice stretch in the other side of your neck. And now we're gonna switch sides, so let your head fall to the other side. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Letting gravity do all of the work of gently pulling your ear towards your shoulder. Make sure your other shoulder is down. Everything should be relaxed. Don't let your shoulder creep up like this. Now we're gonna do some head rolls. So chin to chest, and then to the other shoulder and back. And each time you do this head roll, I want your head to start getting heavier and heavier. Expand your range of motion. Your arms are loose and relaxed like a rag doll. All right, shoulder rolls. So big circles with your shoulders, as big as you can make them. Really exaggerate that movement. Push your shoulders in front of you. Bring them all the way up to your ears. Pinch the shoulder blades together behind you. And now we're gonna do arm circles. So you're going to extend your arms out to the side and just start by making small little circles, and then gradually start increasing your range of motion until finally you're just swinging your arms as big as you can, making the biggest circles you can make. Now you're gonna step your feet out a little wider than shoulder width apart, bend the knees, kind of sweep your hands down in front of you, and then reach your arms up overhead as you straighten the legs. And with each squat, you're going to increase your range of motion little by little, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Now keep the feet where they are. You're just gonna lunge side to side, nice and easy. And now adding the arms, just reaching across your body. Really reach. Imagine trying to throw your arm across the room. Now you're gonna step your feet to the center and just march. Nice and easy. And then little by little, as the interval progresses, you can start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest, until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest, feeling a little stretch in your glutes. And now we're gonna do the same thing with a jog. So start with a nice light jog, and then as the interval progresses, you're gonna start slowly driving those knees up higher and higher, until finally you're driving them up as high towards your chest as you can. Booty kicks. So it's still a nice light jog, but with each step, you are driving that foot up behind you, trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. Now you might need to hold on to a wall or a chair for support for this next one. You're going to transfer your weight to one foot, pick up the other foot, and just swing the leg front and back. switching sides. So move your chair to the other side if you're holding onto a chair for support, or just turn around. Switch your weight to the other foot and just swing the leg. Nice and loose. Next thing you're gonna do is extend one foot out in front of you, keeping the toes on the floor or the ground, and just draw a little semicircle. So starting the foot out in front, and then drawing a little semicircle, bringing the foot around and behind you. Gradually increasing your range of motion, lifting that foot up higher and higher. Other leg. So start with your toes on the ground, draw a little semicircle around and behind you. Gradually, with each rep, you're gonna lift that leg higher and higher, until finally what I like to do is drive the knee up and kind of guide it around with my free hand. Okay, last exercise is a hamstring stretch. So if you have your chair handy, using a chair or a table or the arm of your couch can really assist you getting into this stretch, because what you're going for is a flat back. Now, you're not going to hurt yourself if you round your back in this stretch, but keeping your back flat while you do the stretch is really going to isolate those hamstrings. It's going to intensify the stretch, make it a little more effective. So you don't need to use a chair or a stool or a table or the arm of your couch or anything like that if you don't want to, but it just makes it easier to get into this stretch. It makes it more accessible, and it makes it easier to keep your back flat in order to really isolate those hamstrings. So that's our 5 minutes plus. I just always like to spend a few extra seconds in that hamstring stretch just to make sure, because the backs of my legs tend to be really tight. I want to make sure I'm nice and loose and ready for the workout. All right, so now our muscles are nice and warm. We are loose. We're ready to begin the workout. We are starting with squats and lunges. So you're going to do 4 squats, 4 lunges times 10 rounds. So remember to switch legs, switch which leg is in front for your lunge each time you complete this little combo, okay? So here we go. As soon as you're ready, I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So I'm doing these heels elevated sumo squats. So feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, toes pointed out at about a 45-degree angle. Lift the heels and then sink down into your squat. Press the balls of your feet into the ground to stand, and then lower your heels with control. We're going to do 4 reps. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now 4 static lunges. So step 1 foot back, bend both knees, sink down into your lunge, and then straighten the legs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 time through. We're going to do that 9 more times. So now, heels come up, sink into your squat. 4 reps. 1, 2, 3, 1 more, and 4. Now step back the opposite leg. Make sure you're switching legs each time. And lunge. Pulse. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's 2. 8 more. Do your best. So 4 more squats. Hey, Rudy. 4 lunges. Step it back and lunge. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's 3. Another 4 squats. time through, that's an even number. So every time I'm on an even number, I'm gonna have this leg forward. Odd numbers are gonna be this leg. Whatever you need to do to keep track of which leg you're on, just make sure that you're switching sides each time. All right, so that's 4. We have to do 6 more. Do your best. It's 8, just 2 more times through. Let's keep pushing. Last time through. Oh, this little gnat is driving me insane. Or fruit fly or whatever it is. Keeps buzzing right in my face. I think they like sweat. So every time I work out, they're always just harassing me like crazy. Final squat. I'm feeling it in my feet, my calves, Achilles. It's a really intense exercise. 2 more lunges, and that's 40 squats and 40 lunges. Squats and lunges are halfway done. This workout is halfway done. So, all we have left to do is abs and push-ups. Now for these, we're doing 8 reps times 5 rounds, okay? So starting with our ab exercise, crab toe touches, 8 reps. So coming up into your crab pose, lift one foot, touch the toes with the opposite hand, other side. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now for our breakdance push-ups, so pick up one foot, pick up the opposite hand. Hand goes over, foot goes under, one leg push up. And now foot goes under, hand goes over, return to your starting position. That's 1. Alternating sides with each rep. Opposite hand, opposite foot. Hand goes over, foot goes under. These are taxing for me, and I don't want this to take all day, so I'm gonna zip it. I have 6 more reps to do. You know what we're doing, so go at your own pace, do your best. Here we go, 6 more breakdance push-ups. That's 1. You have to do 4 more times, okay? Do your best. Rest if you need to. Starting again with 8 crab toe touches. Now 8 breakdance push-ups. I'm going to give myself a few extra seconds here. I'm going to keep my lips zipped for the rest of the workout so I can conserve some energy. I want to do these last 3 sets with as much flow and as little interruption as I can. All right. 3 more sets as soon as you're ready. Here we go. tough little workout. That's a challenging push-up variation. And I know it might be tempting to just collapse in a heap on your mat after that final push-up. But it's really important that you make yourself get up. And have kind of an active cool down period. It doesn't have to be a structured cool down. It can be if you want, but just getting up and pacing around like this is fine. You can swing out the arms. I'm really feeling this shoulder that's been bothering me for the last few months. I'm really feeling it after those crab toe touches and the breakdance push-ups. So I'm just gonna stretch out my shoulder. The arm that's stretching is completely relaxed. No tension whatsoever. I'm using the other arm to pull this arm in close to my chest. Letting this shoulder relax, letting the arm relax. And other side, so now swing the opposite hand across. Your straight arm is relaxed. Your shoulders are relaxed, and you're just using your other arm to gently pull your stretching arm in towards your chest. Shake it out. Quick tricep stretch. This tricep stretch is actually getting easier for me. At the beginning of the challenge, I couldn't even really get my arm behind my head because of, again, all the issues I'm having with this shoulder. But with the daily workouts and really, really being disciplined about my stretching and then taking extra time every day to stretch the shoulder, it's really making a difference. So I'm improving, and I'm confident that soon, well, I don't know how soon, but I'm confident that eventually the issues with the shoulder can finally be over and I can get back to normal. But the improvement from day one of the challenge till now is incredible. All right, so shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Let's do a quick quad stretch. I'm not really, if you're having trouble balancing, even if you're good at balance, my balance is pretty reasonable for my age. It's pretty good, but always when I get fatigued, I find it harder to find my balance. So since we just finished a really tough workout, you might be having difficulty balancing. Remember, you can always hold on to the wall or a chair for support. But you're just gonna bring one foot up behind you. You're pulling your heel into your booty cheek. But at the same time you're doing that, you're tucking your belly button back towards your spine. If you notice, if you bring your foot up like this, press your heel into your booty. And now if you allow your back to be arched right here, like your spine normally naturally has a curve there, that's one thing. But when you take away that curve by tilting your pelvis this way and sucking your belly button in, like you're trying to touch your spine with your belly button, get rid of that curve in your low back, and you notice how it really intensifies that stretch in your quad. You can really feel the stretch becoming more effective when you do that. I also want to make sure I'm stretching my calves and Achilles because we worked them hard today. So really you can just go over to the wall or a chair or the arm of your couch and just do this, okay? So the leg is straight and you're just elevating your toes and then pulling your toes as far back towards your shin as you can. And at the same time, if you work on pushing your booty back, you'll get a stretch not only in your calves, Achilles, but all the way through the back of your leg. So push that booty back, keep your back flat. Switch sides. So pulling those toes back, I'm trying to touch my shin with my toes, okay? And then I'm pushing my booty back, trying to touch that back wall with my booty, and really getting a great stretch not only down here in my calves and Achilles, but all the way through my hamstring. And the last thing I want to make sure I'm getting is my feet. So a lot of us do not have very strong feet. Well, not as strong as they could be. We definitely don't focus on exercising our feet. We also don't focus on stretching our feet as much as we should. So we were actually working our feet a lot today with that squat variation. So you want to make sure you're stretching them as well. All right. So definitely when you do your stretching routine today, your whole full length stretching routine where you're doing like a full body stretch, make sure you don't skip your feet. It's easy to overlook feet, but especially when you are working them the way we did today with those plie squats, you want to make sure you're taking a little bit of time to stretch them. So once your heart rate has normalized and it's come back down to about close to your resting heart rate and you feel like you're nice and cool, let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together. Remember that no workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So if you are a beginner, let me walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. I always include a push-up with my bonus burpee, so I'm going to demonstrate it with a push-up, but you don't have to do a push-up. The bonus burpee is mandatory. You must do a bonus burpee, but you can just do a burpee variation that does not contain a push-up. That's up to you, but I'm going to demonstrate it with a push-up. Feel free to eliminate the push-up if you want. So if you are a beginner, you're going to start standing in the middle of your mat. You're going to bend down and place your hands on the mat in front of you, and then you're going to step your feet back one at a time into a plank position. Now knees down for a push-up if you want to include a push-up. If not, you can eliminate it. Step the feet back in and stand. Come up onto your toes if you can, or if you want, you can add a little jump. If you are not a beginner and you want to try to do the push-up from your toes, let's go ahead and do one final bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So when you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. So that ended up taking me 14 minutes and 5 seconds today. I wanted to finish it in closer to 12 minutes, but I got it done. That's all that matters. So if you got the reps done, remember, it's a win, no matter how long it took you. So nicely done. And now it's really important to take about 15 or 20 minutes or more if you can to do your stretching. It's incredibly important that you are taking time to stretch. Immediately after the workout is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get it done because your muscles are nice and warm. If you absolutely do not have time to stretch now, that's fine. As long as you stretch at some point during the day, you're good, but don't skip your stretching. If you take the time to stretch, either now or later on in the day, it is going to help to alleviate any muscle soreness that you might be experiencing after the workouts. And especially if you are a beginner, you're going to be especially prone to muscle soreness. So taking the time to stretch is really going to help alleviate some of that. You'll be a lot more comfortable. It is also really going to help reduce your risk of future injuries because you're training your muscles to generally be more flexible and more pliable. You're going to have an expanded range of motion. It's going to be less likely that you will sustain some type of muscle pull or tear during a future workout. So you're helping to reduce your risk of injuries in the future, which of course is very important. And you're going to improve your flexibility and your mobility, which is important in its own right, and especially as we age. Everyone I know is aging. I don't know anyone who's getting younger. So definitely, no matter your age, it's really important to work on your flexibility and your mobility just for their own sake. So make sure that if you stretch later in the day that you are taking a good 5 minutes or so to warm your muscles up before you begin the stretching routine. The same way we warm up before the workout, you want to make sure that your muscles are warm before you jump into your stretching routine. So if you stretch later in the day, your muscles will have gotten cold again. You'll need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you begin stretching. But as long as you get your stretching done at some point during the day, that's what matters. If you're a beginner and you have no idea what to do for a stretching routine, that's fine. Just go on YouTube and search for like beginner stretching routine, or if you're super tight, you can search for like stretching routines for inflexible people. There's gonna be tons of great options. If you're interested in the stretching routine that I do, it's not my stretching routine, I didn't make it up. It's just that years ago, I went on YouTube and I searched for like a stretching routine that was good for inflexible people because my muscles were really tight because I had been neglecting my stretching. I found this video and I loved it. It clicked, it works for me. I've stuck with it ever since. It's really the only stretching routine I ever do. So if you're interested in that, just ask me. I'm more than happy to share the link with you. But it doesn't matter what you're doing for your stretching, just as long as you get it done. It's really important, so don't skip your stretching. Before I do my stretching, I'm going to add on 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. That is why I am holding Rudbecca. Rudbecca is my adorable black jump rope with these cute little white skulls on the handles. And if you would like to know where I got this jump rope, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code Rudbecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. I am going to reset my timer for 40 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. That's 20 minutes. I'm gonna play some music, 20 minutes, get my cardio done, then I'll do my stretching, and then I will have a shower, eat some lunch, and get on with the rest of my day. The additional cardio is not required. It is not officially part of the challenge. I'm just sharing this with you because every year this is how I do the challenge. After every workout, when I can, it's usually after every workout. Some days you might have to, some days I might not be able to do it. Like last week, I missed like 3 or 4 days of cardio because I wasn't feeling well. I'm still recovering. I'm not quite 100% yet, but I am well enough to get back to doing my cardio, thank God. So every year when I do this challenge, I like to add 20 to 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio after every single workout. Usually for me, that means jump rope, but every once in a while I might go for a jog or hop on the exercise bike for 30 minutes. When I have time, I go for a hike. So the cardio can be anything you want. You can go for a jog or a bike ride, a hike, a swim. If you have a heavy bag, you can work on your heavy bag. If you want to jump rope with me, you can put on some music and jump rope. Use coupon code Rudbecca to save 10% on one of these amazing jump ropes from Double Under Wonder. But any kind of moderate paced cardio you want to do is fine. The reason for this is because I am trying to use this challenge to get myself back in shape. I need to lose weight. I want to improve my stamina, and I want to make sure that I'm strengthening my heart and my lungs. So the additional cardio just goes a long way towards helping to accelerate that process for me so that I start to see results faster. The sooner I start seeing the results, the more encouraged I feel to keep going. And that makes it easier to find the motivation to get dressed and get out here and do my reps every day. And it makes the workouts easier because I'm getting stronger, and everything just kind of snowballs from there. It really helps me kind of propel myself towards my goals a lot faster, and I'm always so much happier with my results at the end of the challenge because of the additional cardio. So you don't have to do the cardio if you don't want to. I'm just sharing that to be transparent, to be upfront that I'm doing more than just these 160 reps every day. I'm relying on those for my strength training, but I'm also adding cardio. Now, we are working out every Monday through Saturday, so that's 6 workouts in a row every week. And so for me, that's 6 cardio sessions in a row every week, and I know that's a lot. And I know that you either might not physically be able to do 6 cardio sessions a week, or you just might not have time to do 6 cardio sessions every week, and I hear that. But if you can even just manage to squeeze in 2 or 3 cardio sessions a week, it's a great way to spend your Sundays. Sundays are our rest days, so you can rest and do nothing if you want on Sundays, that's fine. But Sundays are a good opportunity to sneak in a cardio session. So you're not doing a structured workout, you're not doing any squats, lunges, abs, or push-ups, but you're just moving your body a little bit, burning some calories, and strengthening your heart and lungs, improving your stamina, and just helping to accelerate that process of getting yourself in shape, losing weight, whatever your fitness goals may be. And it's also also really a good idea to help maintain that habit of daily exercise, because that's one of the things we're trying to accomplish with this challenge, is establishing a habit of daily exercise. So it's a great way to spend your Sunday. Just doesn't have to be more than 20-30 minutes, little moderate paced cardio. And then if you can find time, just 2-3 cardio sessions a week, I just really think that it's going to help you start to see results faster. It's going to encourage you to keep going, and I just know you'll be so much happier with your results at the end of the challenge. So the additional cardio is not required. It is not technically part of the challenge, but it's the way I do the challenge, and it is strongly recommended. But regardless of whether or not you are doing cardio today, our 161 reps are complete. We have done our 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, 40 push-ups, and 1 bonus burpee. So that is officially a wrap on day 19. Well done. If you did this workout with me today, thank you very much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you to everyone who is participating in the challenge with me. If you have not yet joined the challenge, remember that it is not too late to join. It is never too late to join. You can hop in and start today on day 19. You can start tomorrow with day 20. Or if you want to start the challenge on day 1, remember to save the playlist. Watch the day 1 video so that you know what to expect, and then just remember to start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. As long as you start with day 1 of the challenge on a Wednesday, everything will fall into place. All you have to do is follow along with the playlist. It is super easy to follow along, and remember that at any point during the challenge, if you have questions or if you need help, I am right here. I am doing the challenge, working out right along with you every single day, but I am also here to provide guidance, support. I'm here to help motivate you and encourage you, so do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you need help. I also want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. I've been getting a lot of new subscribers lately, and that makes me super duper happy, so thank you very much if you are one of those new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a ginormous, great, big, heartfelt thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. I can't even tell you. One final reminder that if anything is unclear about today's workout, if you have questions about the format and how everything fits together, or if the format was a little bit too intense for you, out of reach, and you need help modifying it and kind of restructuring things to make it work for you, I'm right here, okay? So if you have questions about the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already shown you in the video, I am right here to help. I'm always here to help, so please just ask. That is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 20. Bye.